but I don't think letting them run roughshod over the city is an answer either. What do you say to those people?
Yeah. You know, I'm not an abolitionist by any stretch. We have a system that if it works properly, I support it because that's what the people chose to do. But it has to operate properly, and just like I said before, that if we have an agreed upon code of conduct that's established by the majority, we got to follow those rules. We got to follow those procedures. And if we don't, then the law is a double-edged sword. And if the government
Yeah.
breaks the law, then it is still unlawful. What government produces is unlawful because it derives from an unlawful act. So what I have to say to that is that the issue of criminality, the way we're trying to solve it from the bottom up, where we go out and arrest the people and hold them accountable for the crimes they commit, it's never going to work. It doesn't work that way. Because if our country is being led by criminals, and remember, a criminal is defined as simply one that transgresses the law. So if you transgress a law, you're a criminal. And I don't care if that law is the Constitution or a state statute. If you transgress the law, you are a criminal. So today, we don't have a single judge in this whole country that is not transgressing the law outright. We've notified them over the summer. I provided notice, making sure that they knew that they're all breaking the law. Notified their highest judicial officer in these states and asked them to please direct your agents to stop breaking the law, to abide by the Constitution. And they didn't take one single step to mitigate their criminality. They continued to do it and ignored those notices, all 37 states. So if our country is being led by criminals, then that means we're going to be led toward crime. And that will produce an environment of criminality, which will produce a society of criminals. We're simply following our leaders, right? So, before we can deal with criminality people, we got to start at the top. That's why my mantra for my organization is fighting crime from the top down. Because the way we deal with criminality is from the top. We must first ensure you have leaders that are going to lead our country in a lawful direction out of love, faith, obedience, and law, and respect for the people and the laws they established. And until we do that, we're not going in the right direction. But if we can get leaders that are going to accept, the will of the people, that are going to obey the laws and the limitations of power that they have, then we can produce a good environment, which will produce a good citizenry. You see, the people of the United States, we don't want to be criminals, but we are following our leaders. And if our leaders are embezzling, then you can expect that the people will embezzle as well. If the leaders are committing sexual deviance, you can expect the people to be committing sexual deviance as well. We are a product of our environment. And if our leaders create an environment of criminality, we will, in fact, become criminals. And once again, I think that this is a decision that the people of the United States need to make. It's not a decision that a state gets to make. It's certainly not a decision that a judge gets to make. It's a decision that the people get to make because we're no longer going to follow criminals. We're going to choose to go in a lawful direction so that we can produce a lawful society. But as long as the government is acting outside of the law, and that's what I'm doing here, I'm drawing a line in the sand. And I'm saying, here's what the law states. This is what your obligations are, government. And you're clearly operating outside of those parameters. And as a result, you guys are on the criminal side. And if you want to remain criminals, continue doing what you're doing. But if you don't, then you must return to the established rule of law. You must work with me to fix this problem consistent with what the law demands, because we can't compromise on the law. The law is the law. Duralex sed lex. The law may be hard, but it's the law. And we won't compromise on the law.
I love every bit of that, man. And that just it hammers the point home that we do have a system here in place to handle these things. However, because many people down the line have put their interpretation and forced it upon us, then that we have several different rules that are being broken. And why have them if the people that are instituting the rules are the ones breaking them?
Yeah.
I love every bit of that, man. And there's no better way to explain it to folks who are victims of crimes than, the people that are committing the crimes aren't victimless themselves.
Right.
They are victims of the systems. We are products of our environment. And I've been saying that for many years.